Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. You had a great weekend. My apologies for doing the webinar only on a Tuesday. It was a long weekend in South Africa, so a holiday on the Friday and a holiday on a Monday. And I also had a 56-kilometer marathon to run, which was very hectic, but I'm back alive and kicking. It was all good. Thank you for all those that were supporting and cheering. The next one is the Comrades Marathon. So that's my sport, that's my hobby. All right, so let's get started with the weekly analysis. I understand you guys, some of you missed me, so I'm here. Let's get started. Let's do this. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start with the cryptocurrencies. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. All right, so let's get started. Cryptocurrencies. We're going to look at Bitcoin first. All right. So Bitcoin, last week's analysis, we looked at this pulling back here. We're looking at this to be making this kind of pattern here. This is on the daily. We'll look at it on the 4-hour as well. We looked at this piece here to make a continuation pattern. We had a move to the up here. We had a move here. We had a move here. We had a move here, making a running flat. Okay. We expected this to come down and then push higher. That is what is happening. We're still expecting it to push a little bit higher up to the 61 of this whole swing. All right, so let's get let's look at the H4 here for our time frame. All right, so let's look at the 4-hour time frame. But before we look at that 4-hour, let's look at the overall view and what we looked at initially before we had this move to the upside. Okay, so let's look at this. This is on the daily. This is Bitcoin on the daily. Okay, so we had this move here, which I show almost weekly, and we've got this 3-wave move here to the downside. You have a pullback here. You also have a 3-wave move here in here. That means you are getting this move here, which is a 1, that is a 2, that is a 3. So that has reversed there. So when this was making this continuation pattern here, we thought that was going to give us one more down before it goes. So we didn't get that one more down. So that means that swing ended there. Okay, so now we've got this move to the upside. I shouldn't take that off. So we've got the move here that has started to the upside as expected, even though we expected one more down. So we've got the move to the upside. So that is what we have now. So the move that we're expecting now is this one. So just remember, this one is supposed to be happening from here. This is the orthodox low here. All right, so when you get that move, that can either be any of the corrective patterns that any of the flat corrections. So this can go and retest the top there, make an expanding flat, or it can be a running flat. So that's going to be a tricky part. How far will this go? It can be a running flat and make this move. So the structure is very clear. We just need to observe and see which one we are going to get. So that is the structure there. You've got this corrective structure there. So what you have here is a 1, 2, 3 wave move. I'll label that in W because it's 3 waves. 1, 2, 3, X, Y. Okay, is this move over? If this move, so the move that we're currently looking at is this one. Because if this one is not the one that goes, if this one goes, then it's going to change the whole structure. So the current move, if this one goes, it's going to change the whole structure. So we're expecting upside first, and then we're going to expect this last pullback here before we get the move to the upside. The move that we're going to be expecting is this one. Another one, this one in yellow. So what you have here will be a simple one correction impulse. So what you have here is a pulse, a correction, and an impulse. A correction and an impulse, and that is how the Elliott wave theory works. In 5 minutes, that is how this works. So you've got a pulse, you've got a correction, and then you've got a pulse. That's what you're expecting. But the question is, you need to look at the whole sequence here, because if this goes from here, if the current move goes, it's going to change the structure. We're going to have to relook at the structure and look at an alternative. But for now, we're still expecting upside, which is the current move, and then we're going to expect this to make this move so it can have this corrective structure. It can be a running flat, it can be an expanding flat, which can come and retest or even break the top, this previous high here. Okay, so let's look on the 4-hour. What we looked at last week, we looked at a continuation. we looked at this continuation pattern here. So last week we looked at this. This is a piece that we looked at on last week's video. 1, 2, 3 to come down here. Running flat will not give you a chance. You'll just see a reversal without any warning. But when you need to get an entry, you'll have to wait for a corrective structure. For example, you're gonna wait for something like this. That is a corrective structure. It's a flag, but you know that when we look at a flag is not just it's not just candles or something that we wait to break out. It is a corrective structure that we're looking at in a higher degree, which when you go to the lower time frame is a clear corrective structure. So this may look like a flag in this time frame, but a clear corrective structure in the lower time frame. So that is your entry point there. And this breaking here to the top and a further corrective structure here means we're going to get a little bit of a move to the upside as we're expecting that expanding flat in the daily that I've shown. So that is what Bitcoin looks like. And now looking at Litecoin. So Litecoin is making this corrective structure here. There is a pullback. We've got a 5-wave move here to the downside. What you have there now is a pullback in this fashion. So we're still waiting to see what this structure is going to be, whether it's going to be something like this, maybe another move before we go to the upside. So this here, you need to wait and see what structure you're going to get here. What you have here is an A, not a W. We're going to be expecting a B wave and a C wave, and then a further move to the upside. So at this stage, we've got a pulsing move down here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves to the downside. And now you want this corrective structure that is still immature, that is not completed as yet, to build up. When this corrective structure is done, you should get a move here and then a move to the upside. So that is on the 4-hour on Litecoin, just looking at the smaller time frame. So the daily on Litecoin, just same way that I've shown you on Bitcoin, we'll focus at this reversal right at the bottom quite a few months back, and that is exactly where it turned. Okay, but for now you don't have a buy or a sell setup on this one. This is a corrective structure. Whether it can go and do that, but for now we're going to look for this to be a complete corrective structure here and then further move to the upside. All right, that is Litecoin, and that's what we're looking at. On Ethereum, Ethereum has got a similar structure as Bitcoin. It also turned while we expected one more down. Okay, we expected also one more down before a move to the upside. So this was making a move like this, 1, 2. We expected that we're going to have one down here, down. So I need to do that one clearly. Let's make it more visible and clearer. So similar to Bitcoin, this looked like a continuation pattern for one more down. Okay, so let's have a look here what it looks like now. So this was let's take off the lines there. So this was a pulsing move here. It made another pulsing move here. Another pulsing move, different color. Another pulsing move, and we're expecting that we're going to get, which color do we get now? We get blue. So we expected that we're going to get a blue color like that. This was the forecast initially. And we're going to get that. Red, yellow, one more down, then we can go. Okay, so now it has gone from this move, from this structure here, right? So that's where we're going to need to make an adjustment. But the whole structure does not look like it's going to go all the way. This is still going to come back, still going to be a corrective structure. So just to show this structure, what it looked like, this was the A, B, this was the forecast. That's why you're always going to have to get more than one alternative. This was the A, B, C structure, which was supposed to be a continuation. That was going to be correlated to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we also expected it to come and retest the low here, up and then down before it goes. But both of them have all gone up from this structure, which necessitates adjustments in terms of the structure. So what are we looking at now? This is on the daily. So we're having this something like this. I'm going to go to the lower time frame just to show the structure clearly. This still shows a bit of continuation to the upside. Okay, let's look at it on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, Same as Bitcoin, this is the structure that we looked at last week, that is going to be a continuation pattern. You can see that they've both made running flats and continued to the upside. Here you've got a smaller expanding flat, so that means continuation to the upside. So this can go up to this level, up to the previous high here. So you can have this wave here, you can have this move up to here. So that would be your level target for Ethereum. So Ethereum should give you an indication of where Bitcoin is going in the next couple of sessions. So that's what we're going to be looking at, minimum to get to that level. You've got a clear entry point here, which you can put your stop somewhere around there and take it a little bit further up, somewhere here for now. All right, so that is Ethereum. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin was supposed to make a similar structure to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but this is making it kind of different structure. 1, 2, was supposed to be a regular flat here, so it is making another corrective structure here. So there could be a combination here of 1, 2, 3, and another structure here. So we've got this corrective structure here. You could get another corrective structure, something like this, making this a 3-wave move here, 1, 2, 3, and another 3-wave move here, making WXY structure. So this is actually an X here, guys. It's actually an X. So it's typically something like that, a bit of a push higher with the rest of the cryptos, and then maybe one down here, and then we get this move to the upside. So that is what the cryptocurrencies is going to look like. So you can have that one as a corrective structure there. Let's mark it in blue. It's always clear to mark it in blue, which is not so visible, right? So that's what the structure will, that's the structure that we're going to look at. That is Litecoin. And why am I looking at Litecoin here? I was actually looking for Ripple. We've already looked at Litecoin. Let's look at Ripple here. And this structure here, before we talk about Ripple, this structure can be making this structure a V pattern here, where it just comes down here and push up higher. So whichever corrective structure can come here, can come down into a channel and go to the upside like this. Then we've got a pattern that we like to call a V pattern, but as I always said, we do not discover a V pattern. It's just a different way of identifying an Elliott wave structure also. So this is what could happen here. Let's show that V pattern that could happen there. So if you've got that V pattern, say probably forming here, you could have this one here as a 3-wave pullback as an X, and then you have another structure here, something like that, and that will still be a WXY structure, but you'll see that this one will be contained in a channel. That is why this V pattern is very accurate. It's not a pattern that we've identified or that we've discovered, even though we thought so initially, but when we look at it, it is part of the Elliott wave structure. You've got a regular flat here, you've got a zigzag combination here. It's a WXY structure, even if this is contained within the channel, and then you're expecting this to push higher. So you will normally expect this to come with some divergence on the RSI or the MACD, whichever one you use, okay, to check your divergence. Let's just look here. Okay, we don't have divergence as yet, but if this continues to make lower lows while this makes higher highs, then you're gonna have some divergence. But for now, it looks like it's gonna be dropping for one more down before we go up to the upside. This is still Litecoin. I know we've just gone back, but that is further analysis on Litecoin and what one can be expected there. All right, so that is Litecoin. Let's go to Ripple. Alan is asking a very long question, which I cannot answer here during the weekly analysis. He's wondering if how many people actually trade the cryptos. I cannot answer that. I don't know how many people trade the cryptos, but let's save those questions for later. Right, so let's look at Ripple. Let's go to the higher time frame, daily. So Ripple, the structure is still on the daily. Let's look at the higher degree structure. So I'm going to show the current structure. You can check what we looked at initially on Ripple. So this is a three-wave move. How does this three-wave move look like? This is a move there. That is a three-wave move there. So that is your one. It's coming down in three waves. This is a three-wave move down up to this point. It's another three-wave move up here and another move to the downside here. So you've got here a three-wave move on Ripple. 1, 2, 3 waves, W, 1, 2, 3, X, 1, 2. You also have a three-wave move here with a running flat here, 1, 2, 3, Y. Okay, so now what you have here now is this move here, which we are now going to look at as I need to use the green color, which we're now going to look at as the overall X that corrects the whole move. So that means at some point here, this should give us this move similar to this one, something like that. And then we get the last move to the downside before we go. Okay, so let's have a look and see how that one goes. So that is, we've been looking for this to come and retest the low here. It does not have to retest the low. It can actually go from here. So let's have a look on the lower time frame. Before we do that, let's check the structure and how to label it. Let's take this off. That is your yellow. Let's take it off. That will be your W in the higher degree. 1, 2, 3. If we get that pulsing move that we're looking for, because this pulsing move is going to come very soon. The pulsing move on Ripple is imminent. You are going to get this move. Whether it's going to be short and we're going to get one more down, that's what we're going to need to find out. But this pulsing move will definitely come on Ripple to the upside. So you need to watch this and see when it comes. Don't miss that move. Right, so let's have a look here. You already have divergence, so that move is definitely coming very soon. You already have divergence from this. This has been making lower lows from that point, and at this point now, you are making, the RSI has already started a move up. You need to watch this for an upside. So you're going to get a move here. Either this is going to come here first, or it's going to go all the way. But the big move on Ripple is very clear. It's going to come. A similar move to this one initially. Okay, but if we catch it there, it's going to be a bit too late. So watch the move on Ripple. It is definitely coming. And the nice thing about Ripple is that your stop loss, you can just put your stop loss at 0. And you're safe. You can even trade this long term. Your stop loss can be put there, and it's all safe. Okay, you have divergence. You've got this move. It should go all the way from there. So keep watching and keep getting setups for a buy here. That move here will come first. Okay, so that may go all the way as well. So don't miss it and watch and get it at the top here, because at the top there, it may be going for one down before it goes. So Ripple, it looks very, very good. All right, so let's look at the indices. The indices are very simple. It's only one thing you needed to do from the beginning of the year. Let's look at the S&P 500. There's only one thing you needed to do. So this is on the daily. So from the beginning of the year, we started with this move to the downside, looking for upside here. So the move here was this expanding flat down here. And from the beginning of 2019, we've only been looking for one thing and one thing only, and that is buy the indices, okay, after this expanding flat. Let me just see here if I've got a detailed labeling on this. So that is the detail here, and that is what we expected. This was not labeled in hindsight, it was labeled before. So we expected this move here to come down here and push higher. Okay, so every time you get a pullback, and that's what I've been saying from the beginning of the year, every pullback is an opportunity to buy, because we're looking for this to make all-time highs on the S&P 500. So we started with a pulsing move. We started with a pulsing move up here. We started with a corrective structure, So all these corrective structures are opportunities to enter and hop on and ride the trend. A corrective structure there, a corrective structure there. We're currently making another one. It's actually quite a bit riskier now to buy those corrective structure, because at some point now we must get a pullback. It can't just go in a straight line like that. We're gonna get a pullback at some point, and now this may already have started making divergence, but that divergence does not mean reversal. It may mean only a pullback. You can see here we've started this move here. We've got the indicator doing this. We've got this making higher highs. This making higher highs. and it's wedging in there. So that could just make be a deeper corrective structure here at some point. But for now, it is making a corrective structure for continuation to the upside for one more. Okay, that could possibly break the top here, which is the all-time highs that we forecasted last year in October already. I think last week I showed a video where we forecasted that this was going to make all-time highs because we were looking at these structures. So as I always say, what you're looking at with these weekly videos, you're looking at the front end of very detailed analysis. This is what we're looking at. If you look at this on the weekly, this is what you will see. Take it off. So that is the structure. So this is why when last year this was coming down here, I was convinced that this was going to push higher. Okay, which we are now here, very close, just a few points from the all-time highs, and we're looking for that wave 5. Okay, so that's what we're looking at, and it's not just one swing. If we look, let's just stretch it a little bit more. It's not just one string. You can see that it's the whole structure labeled. Okay, so this you're only seeing the high level, but the lower you go into the lower time, the more you go into the lower time frame, the more you see the detail of all this analysis and where it comes from. So that is what you will see here will only be this piece when we come here into the weekly videos. Okay, so what we do with the members in the group is go into the details of this. If there's any interest in this specific indices or any other pair, we go into the detail during our daily webinars. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. Let's go to the 4-hour. So the 4-hour is just for us to look at this corrective structure. So this is a small pullback there. It will push higher. Like I said, as much as this will push a little bit higher here, these are not good risk to reward ratio trades right now because they've already moved so far up. And so at some point here, you are going to get a pullback. Okay, so that is the S&P 500. The Dow is also similar in structure. We're looking at the same thing, a pullback. Okay, you're looking for pullbacks to enter. So every time they make three-wave structures, are opportunities for you to enter. Okay, so every time they make these structures, opportunities to enter these three-wave structures. Again, you can see that they are all three-wave structures. Okay, you can clearly see them in the lower degrees, three-wave structures. These are all opportunities to enter, and that's what is forecasted last year also. So this is exactly the same structure as the S&P 500. As you can see there, you've got a similar expanding flat like that over there, and it's pushing higher. Okay, and the reason why I don't look at this structure is because this looks like it's a contracting flat, and we don't have a structure called a contracting flat. That is why we are looking at this as a pullback in three waves and a continuation in this move, right? So that's what that looks like. So we are also very close to all-time highs there. The Nasdaq is similar. Looking at the Nasdaq, let's go to the daily. So the Nasdaq, you also have a pulsing move there. And the Nasdaq, and can you see the difference between the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 is that the Nasdaq is already at all-time highs. Okay, has already reached the all-time highs that we forecasted last year in the beginning of October. So we are already where we want to be. So at some point here, you must start getting a pullback. So if you get a pullback here that is corrective, that is indication that you are going to push even higher on the indices and not reverse. Okay, so we still want one move to the upside to go and complete that wave 5 in the blue degree. You can see the blue degree on this chart here right now. That is the Nasdaq. That's still the Nasdaq. And looking at the Nikkei now, the Nikkei had the clearest structure of them all. So that is what you have on the Nikkei. You've got a 1, 2, 3 wave move down, as you can see with WXY there. You've got a 3-wave move there, as you can see with the WXY in red. You've got a 3-wave move down, as you can see with the WXY in red as well. So you'll see that the Nasdaq is not going up in 5 waves. It is going rather in 3 waves. That is also part of the Elliott Wave structure. So you get that one here. You've got here a 3-wave move. So if there is no 3 waves, there's no 5 waves, you don't label 5 waves. That is the mistake that most people do. They're always looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s, even when there are no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulses. So here you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, you've got a 1, 2, 3 wave back. So you've got 3 up, 3 back, and you're looking for this one to do a similar structure first of all to do that. So that means the indices are still going to continue to the upside. You've got here WXY structure continuing to the upside. So we'll see the relationship between this bigger structure and what this is making here as this completes. But for now, we can see there's a 3-wave move happening there. Okay, so let's go to the 4-hour and see what that pullback looks like here. So the pullback, here, so that's what you have here. So we're going to look at this here as a corrective structure there, same as what we're looking at with the other indices. A bit of a pullback, still going to push higher. So the structure is correlated, even if it is not making an exact same structure. The others are making 5-wave moves. This one is making a 3-wave structure. All right, so that is what we have. Welcome, Klein. Yeah, you're a bit late, but the webinar will be on YouTube as soon as it's done. All right, that is the Nikkei, and we're looking for a bit of a push to the upside. UK 100, we also looked at this one. Let's have a look here. So we actually forecasted the reversal point of this one here last year as well. That was on the blue box. If you watch your last year's videos around October, you'll see that these moves we forecasted that they were going to push higher. So there's no opportunity here for an entry into ride like the others. Actually, even the others have got very small corrective structures, which are quite risky to enter here. So we're looking for continuation to the upside as well. Here we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. We could be making an extended wave 5 here. So let's see how this one plays out. A little bit of a move to the upside on UK 100. The DAX also, we've got a 5-wave move here, looking like we're going to make an extended wave 5. So you've got here a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Let's just have a look here. If this is a 1, this is a 2, this we've got a wave 4 here that violates this. So this must actually start as a diagonal. So this may be starting a diagonal there because the wave 4 is in the territory of wave 2. So that can only be allowed if this is going to make a diagonal. Now, if that is going to be a diagonal, let's remove this. If this is going to be a diagonal, let's have a look here. This is what you're going to have. You're going to have this looking like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is allowed to break above here and then come back. Not like that, sorry. And then come back and make a corrective structure. So at this point here, which is the boundary of this channel here, you may start getting a pullback, and some support and resistance traders and trendline traders may think, okay, this is at the top boundary and it is reversing. So it may just be a pullback after a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And then A, B, C. So this structure can be any structure. It doesn't have to be what I've focused here. It can be any structure. So you could be getting this pullback. If it becomes corrective, you know that we're going to push higher on the DAX. All right, and now looking at the Nifty, let's have a look here. We've forecasted that it's going to make a 3-wave move and correct. Even last week, we're still looking for this to correct. It's a 3-wave move to the upside. Why do I say a 3-wave move there? I'll show you just now. So you've got a move to the upside here. Okay, so you've got a move up there. You've got a 1, 2, 3-wave move there. There's a 1, 2, 3-wave move there. And in this degree, you've got a 1. You've got a 3-wave move. That's your B. So you've got A. Let's have a look here. Why do I have X? It's actually, yeah, X is for this move here. That's your X there. Internally here, you've got your A, you've got your B, you've got your C in green. Similarly with the red, you've got the same with your regular flat, A, B, C. You can go on and on with this up until to the lowest time frame. So we're expecting a bit of a pullback here, which is already starting on the Nifty. Okay, so wait for the pullback if there's going to be any continuation here. Okay, so why do we went for a pullback? You've got a 3-wave move up. You're going to expect 1, 2, 3. This is what you have currently. Currently, this is what you have. Let's take this off. You've got a 3-wave move up, one correction up. So you're going to expect another 3-wave move here. Then we'll expect this to do this. Okay, so that's what we're going to be expecting. This will be a W, and that W represents that whole red degree. Let's have a look here. I think let's remove that. That whole red degree over there. That is your W. You'll expect this corrective structure, which is this one here, and then you'll expect to move to the upside. Keep an eye on that and see if we're going to get that continuation pattern. That is the Nifty, one of the stocks that I do for just this one stock. I just do it for interest sake. It's a Sun Pharmaceutical stock. It's on the NSE, one of the Indian traders. We've been looking at this, I think, for the past 2 years, doing analysis on this. So this one is clear what is going to happen here. You're going to get a push up here to complete the last wave before you get a corrective structure. So that's what you should wait for here. Okay. That's what you should wait for there. So in here you could be having a 1, 2, and internally here you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, here it violates the wave 4, so that one may be a diagonal there, 1 up there, and you get 4, 5. So let's see what you get here with this structure. For now, you know that this corrective structure is for 1 more up. Then we'll update and adjust the structure as you get more data there. That is a Sun Pharmaceutical stock. It's an Indian stock. So now let's look at the US dollar pairs. Let's look at the US dollar pairs. Let's look at the Euro. Euro, US dollar. Okay. Now, Euro, US dollar, you'll see that I've got the forecast there, and that forecast is based on this. Already have this on the daily, so we'll just complete this now. Let's put in the lower boundary there. I don't know why it came off. So we're looking for this to form some kind of a diagonal. That's why last week we expected that this pullback here was going to break to the downside, which it has already done so. It has already done so. It has already come down to the bottom. So we said we want this to come down to the lower boundary. If it comes down to the lower boundary, then what that means is that we're going to be having a 1, a 2, a 3, a4, a5 before we get this pullback that we're expecting here on the Euro. This is already happening. We're going to come down. How far we're going to come down? Expect it to come down to the lower boundary here if this is going to make this diagonal. This is not going to go down just like that. It is very corrective, and it's actually a motive wave that will need to be corrected before any further move to the downside. Okay, let's switch off here and show that structure. So that is the structure. You can take a snapshot of what we're looking at there. I'm going to go to the lower time frame and look at this piece now that we want to come down for to complete the 3, and then we're going to expect that those 3 moves. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. The DXY, we're going to look at the DXY as well. The DXY, we're expecting the same thing. So this is the structure that we expected to drop to the downside last week. So that will be a wave 3. Yeah, I just need to remove this. These are supposed to be visible in only one time frame. Okay, so that's the structure that we looked at last week to come and break to the downside. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is WXYXZ structure, and then a drop to the downside. It is making another corrective structure, so further drop until hopefully we get down to this level. That is the forecast for now on the Euro. Then we're going to expect maybe another move to the upside, a back, and then upside to complete the diagonal. All right, so when that diagonal is completing, we should be getting divergence as well. We expect to get divergence on the RSI. And as you can see here, as I've said, you can see this is similar to what you have on Ripple. This is coming down with this move, all right? It is contained in this move. It will definitely make a move to the upside. We will get this move to the upside. It's making lower lows, but the RSI has already started a move to the upside. So at some point here, this will make a very strong move to the upside. You just need to keep an eye and watch it as it comes. This is not going to go down all the way. It's not going to go down all the way. You're going to get a move here, at least a move back to the 61% of this whole move, minimum, 50 to 61%. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at there. That move, I've placed this at about 50, 60%. Okay, so then the DXY, when you look at the DXY, should just be the opposite of the euro. So the DXY, you can see the divergence is even stronger than what you've seen on the euro. Here we're making higher highs, and we're still expecting this to make a move to the upside, like that, the same thing that you're expecting, the complete opposite of what the euro is doing, the inverse of what the euro is doing. So you've got here, you've got your wave 4 there, you're expecting a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 to complete the diagonal. Now, after that 5, we're expecting this big corrective structure, also to the 50% of this whole move. So this is looking very clear, and the next move that is going to come is very clear here on the DXY as well as on the euro US dollar pair. So watch it. It is clear what is coming on this structure. Right, US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD, we're looking at this whole structure. Let me just take that off so it doesn't clutter the chart. We've got a pulsing move here with the orthodox low here. And now from there, this has been correcting in this fashion. We've got a 3-wave move up. We're going to get another 3 waves here before we get another move here. So let's watch this. Let's check this in the 4-hour, in the lower time frame. Get this off. So in the lower time frame, so if you wanted a trade here, there's no clear trade here, but if you are desperate for a trade, you could look for this one to come and break the top here and retest this level at least. I would not be looking to buy this kind of setups. Okay, so you've got here a move down here that is a 5-wave move. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. A pullback in 3 waves, A, B, C, and now you have been busy correcting with this structure. You've got a move there, you've got a pulsing move there. Now you also have this structure looking like this here. It's also another pulsing move. Now this is still not complete yet, so this may still do that. We get the move like that. You get that, and then that will be complete like that. So that is just the focus that we're looking at on US dollar CAD based on how this is playing out right now. So this will be your A move, your B move, your C move, and then we'll expect this to move to the upside. The overall structure here will be 1, 2, 3, W. The whole ABC in green will be your X, and then you'll expect a Y. So very much corrective, which can come here and retest the top here. So this is still very corrective, so that's why there isn't clear trades to look at here, but for now you can look at this one to break here and make a move possibly back to that level. Okay, so that's US dollar CAD, pound US dollar. Now let's look at the pound pairs. Now the pound pairs, we mentioned that they have all made these corrective structures so these are the corrective structures. I think we've been looking at this for about the beginning of March when this started here, these corrective structures. Okay, now what is going to happen here is this a regular flat that should now make a move to the upside. So on the pound specifically, on pound US dollar specifically, we've got this move here that looks like it can make one down before we go, just to complete this and make this an expanding flat and continue with the move to the upside. So we will get that confirmation if we break out of this structure and we make a corrective structure out of this. That will tell us that we are ready to make one more up, break the previous highs there. So that's what you're going to be looking at. You got a clear 3-wave move here and a clear 3-wave move coming down here. Okay, let's see how that plays out. So you'll see that this structure is on most of the pound pairs. You'll see when you go to pound chief, you've got a similar structure. So let's see how that plays. Then we'll look at Audi US dollar. Audi US dollar on the 4-hour. Let's go to the daily first. Let's go to the daily first, see what we forecasted. Now, if you look at Audi US dollar, the structure that is coming is exactly as forecasted. You can see here. If you watched last week's video, we focused that we're going to have this as a corrective structure, and then we're going to come down. Okay, let me show you what the labeling was here. You can see this labeling from last week still. we were expecting that we're going to get this red wave Y. Red wave Y. See, you don't have to have 5 wave moves where they are not there. Here you've got a 5 wave move. Here's a 3 wave move down. Here's a 3 wave move up. Are we going to get another 3 wave move to the downside here before we get another pulsing move here to the upside? The structure is very clear. As you can see, you've got 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 up. Can we get 1, 2, 3 down here now? Let's see if that's what we're going to get. Okay, so the 1, 2, 3 down can come with the euro coming down here and then make this structure in a pulsing move to the upside. Okay, so now you'll be looking to take this one down here back to Y. A corrective structure, you take it down. You can take a snapshot of what this looks like here. Very clear. That's what we're looking at. To go to Y and then C. New Zealand. So New Zealand, we're at focus. Just hold on a second here. So New Zealand, the forecast was that we're going to get 1, 2, 3 wave moves here, and this one now is going to make a move to the upside here. So now we didn't get this move now. We got 1, 2, 3 wave moves. So we can see though clearly what this is doing. We are going to get 1 here. This was a corrective structure. We're coming down here to make this structure. Okay, so that is the structure that we're going to be looking at. We're coming down here to complete this 3 wave move, and then we're going to look for this one here. So even if you don't get the whole corrective structure right, you don't worry about that. What you want to see here is that when the corrective structure is done, is complete, you are able to spot it and be able to trade it. So for now, we're still looking for this to come down and then move up and then move to the upside. So you've got a 1, 3 wave move there and a move to the upside. So what is happening here again is 1 pulsing move and another move here. Easy. That is New Zealand. I think that concludes all the US dollar pairs. Now, the US dollar ZAR, as we mentioned, this was one of those V patterns that we mentioned, I think, in the last week. So now it is making a move to the upside. Let's look at this on the 4 hour. It's making the move as expected. This was your entry point here. This was your entry point here. Now we're looking for upside. So it made 1, 2, 3 up. It made 1, 2, 3 back. Let's do this clearly. We have got a 1, 2, 3 there. Correction. Clearly. Pull back in 3 waves and then a move. So you've got a 3 wave structure there, and you've got this one here. Correcting the whole thing. Now you've got this one here. 1, 2, 3. So what you have here is 1, 2, 3 wave move. Are we going to get another pullback in the purple degree? Is this purple or blue? I'm colorblind, so you can decide. So you can get a pullback in this wave and another 3 wave move like that on US dollar ZAR. Okay, so pullback does not have to be this deep. It can just go sideways. But whatever you get here will be continuation to the upside. Right, so that concludes all the US dollar pairs. Now let's look at the yen pairs and then silver and gold. Now the yen pairs looks like they're starting their move to the upside. Okay, we've got a pulsing move. Let's remove all of this. You've got a pulsing move here. You just want the corrective structure. This is 4 hour. You can get a corrective structure in the 1 or the 4 hour to take it up. Let's look at the daily and see why we want that to push higher. We've been looking for that move for a long time. Now, is this the one that's gonna go all the way? Now, this is a 3 wave move on US dollar. On pound JPY. On pound JPY. Okay, so this is not even complete as yet, because what this looks like, it looks like it's making 1. It's a corrective structure here. Even if this goes up from current levels, this may just come and retest the top here, and you get another 3 wave move to the downside. Let's not use that color. Same degree as the first structure like that. It does not have to be a zigzag. It can be any corrective structure. So that will be a WXY structure that you will expect there before we push higher. But the idea is that we push higher. If this is all the correction here, we can push all the way from current levels. So what you have now is only a pulsing move. You need to get a corrective structure to confirm that you're getting that move to the upside. And that corrective structure looks like it's already coming, and this is it here. Okay, you can look to enter here the same way that you would have entered here. So look for that and continuation to the upside. So you've got 1, 2, 3 has started to move. You want to get a pullback here to ride it up. That's pound yen. US dollar JPY also correcting right at the top. Let's go 4 hour. You've got a very clear corrective structure here. The break above this is going to push this higher. Why do we want this to go higher? Let's show you the higher degree time frame. Daily. So on the daily, if you look at this, we looked at this as a 1, as a 2, as a 3. 1, 2, 3 wave pullback. Now what are we looking for? We're looking for this structure again. Now we want this to make this and this, then that will be a complete WXY structure. Possibly retest the top here. So let's see what we get here. So look for this to break above this. Okay, so this structure could have been a regular flat 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and come down here and make a move here like this. But the fact that it's correcting here at current levels and not making an impulse to the downside means this is going to break above this and it's going to continue to the upside. So watch this structure here for entry back up. It's usually JPY euro. So the euro, the structure that we expected was a 3-wave move there, pullback, and we're expecting another one similar to that. Okay, why do we call that a 3-wave move? Is because you've got a pulsing move, you've got a running flat that makes it a 1, 2, 3-wave move to the upside, 1, 2, 3-wave pullback, and then we're going to be expecting similar this side to get a move to the upside. So this pullback may push a little bit higher. Okay, that's euro. Chief JPY is similar. As you can see, also we've got a 3-wave move up. We've got a 1, 2, 3-wave move to the downside, and we'll still be expecting this to push higher to give us this 3-wave move. Audi JPY. So Audi JPY, we looked at this one last 2 weeks to break out of this corrective structure. Makes a move, 1, 2, 3, and then went with this move. Is this going to come back now, or it's going to make a corrective structure here at current levels and continue with this move? Because that's what we want to happen. We want to see that continuation pattern. Okay, so if this starts coming down here and we see a corrective structure here, this can still be a pullback in 3 waves that will take us higher. But let's see how this plays out. Okay. That's Audi JPY, New Zealand JPY now. Similar with New Zealand JPY. Difference between New Zealand and Audi is that the Audi had broken out of that corrective structure. This one has not broken out of the corrective structure. So this is the corrective structure that is currently happening here. Let's see if this is what we're going to get here. This pullback in 3 waves, whether it's going to push a little bit further to the upside. Here you've got a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 back, and we're going to get the move to the upside. So let's wait for this to push a little bit lower and then up. You have a clear move down, correction, and a move down. So this move down still needs to go a little bit further down. CAD JPY. So CAD JPY, a little different to the other cryptocurrencies, except we still have this as a move to the upside. We've got a move to the upside, 5-wave move, a pullback in 3 waves. Can this be making this structure here? Okay, so let's see, because the others are pulling back in this move, so this can just complete the structure for upside. And that will be a structure here. This can even be a regular flat. It does not have to be, it can actually continue from there. So whichever one it makes, you should be able to catch it. Let's see here. That's what you're going to have. Let's go to the lower time frame on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you are waiting for this corrective structure to complete. You've got an expanding flat there. So if this is not complete, this may just be looking to break the low here, because an expanding flat needs to break the top, needs to break the low. So maybe this one just makes a corrective structure here, breaks the low, and continue to the upside. So you just need to keep an eye on this. There is no setup here for anything. That is CAD-JPY. Now that's all the yen pairs. Now let's look at silver and gold. We'll start with gold. Let's go for our daily. So gold, we're looking for this move here. This is a pulsing move. This was a corrective structure. What we're expecting here is for this to push a little bit down, not reversal, this to push a little bit lower to come and complete this move like this. So that means we still have continuation pattern to the downside here, and then we're going to look for continuation to the upside, and that is gold. We're looking for this to go up. Silver, making that V pattern now. It's making the V pattern as well. But like I said, the V pattern is not something that we discovered. We just like to call it differently. It makes a lot of sense looking at it like that. So you may be getting here as a pulsing move A pullback in B, and get this as a diagonal. So you could be getting a diagonal here, which is a C wave. Okay, so when you get that, that must be coming with divergence, and then we'll expect this to go to the upside. So because we're expecting silver to drop a little bit lower, let's see. So this can also make a little bit of a move to the downside. The divergence has already started there. Okay, so if this makes a new low, while this makes a new lower high, then the next move may be just upside. Let's see how that plays out. So don't miss the move here. If it comes here on gold, may retest the top here and just go. Let's look at the pound pairs. Pound chief, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, and now we're busy correcting with this structure. We're busy correcting with this structure. Now, if you remember pound chief and pound US dollar, we're also looking at this to be expanding flats, but the structure is changing here at the top because we're getting what looks like a continuation pattern. So we're not going to make a relationship between this and that. So we're going to look at this as the orthodox low with a pulsing move there, and now busy making a corrective structure here. And if we're getting that corrective structure, that means this is going to be a continuation to the upside. Okay, so watch for this structure. For now, it can come and retest there and then do that. That's pound chief. Now, pound New Zealand first. Let's look at pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand, we have been looking for this one to break this here and move and go to the upside. So it has been trade of the week. It has been chart of the week for the last couple of weeks. Obviously, that structure that we looked at, it was on the daily. So that's why it was taking long. So it has now broken out of this structure here. It has made a corrective structure here. It is actually ready to go up. Let me look at this. I posted this one under our trade setups in our Slack group. Okay, if it comes up, we'll look at it. Let's have a look here. Yes, it is up here. It's pound New Zealand. Let's look under trade setups here. See what the expectation is on this one. I didn't talk about the course, so the next course is only going to be in June. So those that are interested in the course, it's only going to be in June. But if you want to learn before then, you can send me an email. I'll give you more detail about the course. But if you want to learn before the course is pre-recorded on videos. The June session is only it's the live session where we get interactive and you get to ask questions after you've watched the videos. Okay, so let's look at trade setups. I'm looking for trade setups. So this is the structure that we looked at. This is what we were looking at in the group. So this has made a move here. It has also made a move to the downside here. It's only made a entry point here at this stage. So we're still looking to take this one to the upside. Okay, we had a move here that looked like it was going to break, but it also closed back inside the flag. So that was not ready as yet. Now it's going. Let's see how far it can go. Here it is. And that is that move that went up and didn't close above the flag. 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you're just looking for an entry point. Every time it makes these pullbacks, and close above the flag, you look to take the trade. Every time it makes these pullbacks, you look to take the trades. Okay, so this was the candle that went up and closed inside the flag back again. Okay, so now we're looking for this one to go all the way. All right, so let's continue with the pound pairs. Pound Audi. Pound Audi, if you remember last week, we forecasted that this was going to reverse right here on the blue box. Watch last week's video. We had this blue box in place last week already, and it is making a reversal there exactly. Okay, so you already have an impulse move here, a corrective structure. It's breaking out of this V pattern here. Okay, so let's have a look and see if this is going to give you another entry point, but this would have been a perfect entry point to take it all the way up. Petro is asking if gold will form any harmonic pattern. Which time frame, Petro? Or maybe just send me a chat in our group. You are in our group, so you can ask these questions in the group. All right, so this is Pound Audi and what we're expecting out of this one. So Pound CAD, also we've made this passing move. We're looking for this. We're looking for corrective structures to confirm continuation to the upside here. Otherwise, this can make a corrective structure here and go one more down before it goes. But I don't expect that one. I expect this to correct from current levels and push a little bit higher. And that is all the pound pairs. Now we can look at the euros. Looking at the euros. Now this one is dying to come down, even if it is for a pullback. Even if it is for a pullback, you can get one more up after this corrective structure, and we get one more down like that. Let's have a look on the divergence first. So this is actually diverting here. We're getting this divergence, very strong divergence. So this one may be a move here. If we get a corrective structure here, this may come back here to that level or retest the low here. If the pound pairs are pushing higher, this could be retesting the low here like that. And getting out of this structure could be a confirmation for that. Let's go higher time frame and see the overall structure on this daily. So this could still be a continuation to the downside. This one can come down here after pushing a little bit higher. Keep an eye and see how that plays out. It's Euro pound. Let's look at the rest of the Euro pairs. Euro Audi. Euro Audi has made a 3-wave move. 1, 2, 3. Now looks like it is already reversing. It has made an impulse. Look for entry point here in the lower degree. It is making a perfect V pattern. Trust this pattern. We're going to get this to go back at that level. Euro New Zealand. Expecting this to come and retest the top here. We've got a 1 here. Got a pulsing move A, a 3-wave move here B, and then you're looking for another pulsing move in C to come and end there. That's Euro New Zealand. Euro CAD. Euro CAD. Okay, has made a pullback in 3 waves again. It's coming down in 3, we're making this corrective structure. So this one is going to retest the low here. Should come down. Let's look at it in the 4 hour. One, two, three down, pull back. We've got 1, 2, 3 down. You've got a pulsing move A. 1, 2, 3, possibly here. This is a different color. 1, 2, 3. You get one up. You get one down, making this a W, X, Y structure. The red degree is an ABC structure. A, B, and a C there. Okay, so that is what you're going to be looking at on EuroCAD. Euro Chief pushing higher. I think I missed US dollar chief here. I'll look at US dollar chief. It's got a similar structure as Euro chief. I missed US dollar chief. We'll do it just now as well. So if you look at Euro chief, it is making this big structure, this big corrective structure, and now we're looking to come and retest the top here. Continuation to the downside after that. Okay, now US dollar chief, these are some of the charts that we look at for years, and then they actually play out. So if you look at US dollar chief and you go and look at some of my videos 2-3 years back, you'll see that we were looking at this as a diagonal, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're looking for this to complete the last wave 5 here with this ABC move. So that's why we have been looking at the analysis on US dollar chief the way we have been. So now the idea here is just to get continuation patterns and keep pushing higher. So now pushing higher means euro down on US dollar chief. We've done Euro, Audi, New Zealand, Chief, and CAD. I think that's all the Euro pairs. We've also done Euro Pound. Now we can look at some of the cross pairs. Now let's look at Audi, New Zealand. Audi, New Zealand, it should be in good profits because we looked at this structure when it was coming down and we could forecast that this was going to push higher. Now the question is, how far can this go? Expect a similar length to that. Looks like it's going to push a little bit higher before any pullback, any deep pullback. Let's look at the rest of the Audi and the CAD pairs. Audi CAD, you're looking for this one to come down here. Correct, and come down here. Wait for it to correct here first, because this can simply be a 3 waves up, a 1, 2, 3 back, and another 3 waves up. That's why it's important to wait for confirmation here and not rush in. New Zealand CAD, come and retest here. It has already done so. We've already made an expanding flat. Let's see how far the Euro and the Audi is going to push to the downside before we get this to the upside. New Zealand Chief, similar. We've made a 5-wave move here, and we're busy correcting with a 5-wave move, another 5-wave move. This one is now corrective structure. Can we get another one up here, and then another one down before we go up? Now you're getting a corrective structure here that's telling me that you're going to have continuation pattern to the upside. Let's look at it on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour here, you got a passing move here, you got a corrective structure there, so you could make another one like that or retest the top. Let's look at Audi Chief. Corrective structure. Look for continuation to the upside. But this is not a very good trade to take after it has moved so far up. But this looks like it's going to continue. If you're holding, you wait for it to push a little bit higher. This will still push a little bit higher because you're looking for this structure. Pull back in 3 waves, and you're looking for that. It's Audi Chief. Cat Chief. Similar. Now, making a corrective structure here means we're going to get a structure like that. So we don't see any reversal, we don't see any impulse in the opposite direction there. So it looks like we're going to get continuation pattern. Oil looks like it's making an expanded wave 5 there. We've got this one here, and it's making 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're getting this wave 5 expanded. It's A, it's B, and we're getting the expanded wave 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how this plays out here. We're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here on this leg. We may be getting 1 and then like this. So oil, continuation to the upside. Wait for a deeper one, something similar in size as this one or this one, and take it up. Let's see if we've got any divergence. Divergence is not even strong, so that will still be continuing to the upside. Looks like that's all for this week, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Petro, you can stay on. We'll see you guys not tomorrow. Tomorrow is for the guys that are in the group. And for those that are attending the course, we'll see you guys tonight. Have a great week, guys. Please, you can log off now. We'll see you guys next week, Sunday. All the best. Cheers. Bye-bye.